Cris Carter goes off. Shedeur Sanders just made a $50 million NFL mistake. In a year that was supposed to mark the rise of college football's next superstar quarterback, Shedeur Sanders' name was expected to light up the draft boards. He was supposed to be a first-round lock, maybe top 3, maybe even the face of a franchise. Instead, the young signal caller heard his name called in the 5th round, and according to Hall of Famer Cris Carter, there's no mystery behind the fall. There's no conspiracy, no scapegoat hiding in the shadows. Shedeur has no one to blame but himself, Carter said, pulling no punches in a blistering episode of the Fully Loaded podcast. Let's rewind. Shedeur Sanders, the son of NFL legend and Colorado Buffaloes head coach Deion Sanders, had everything going for him entering the 2024 college football season. He had the name, the numbers, the media hype, a Heisman buzz, a brand bigger than most NFL rookies before him, and yet, come draft night 2025, 5 quarterbacks were selected before him. 5. When the Cleveland Browns finally picked him up in the 5th round, it wasn't just a fall. It was a crash landing. Cris Carter didn't sugarcoat why. This ain't a fashion show, it's a job interview. You're going for a job interview, Carter said with the directness of a man who's been through the gauntlet himself. And Shedeur was more concerned about what he was wearing than what he was bringing to the table. Carter highlighted how Sanders showed up to pre-draft meetings dripping in luxury, a 6-figure necklace swinging from his neck. That might fly on Instagram, but in NFL war rooms filled with GMs and scouts trained to spot character, discipline, and leadership, it didn't land the way Sanders thought it would. He hadn't even convinced teams that he could be the face of a franchise, Carter added. In fact, he made some believe they'd be better off going in a different direction, even with less talented guys. That's a stunning indictment. But Carter wasn't done. The $50 million misstep Shedeur threw away at least $30 to $50 million, Carter said flatly. Let that sink in. That's not just a lost paycheck. That's a generational wealth gap. That's the difference between being a foundational QB for a rebuilding team and fighting for reps in a crowded quarterback room, which is exactly where Sanders now finds himself in Cleveland. To put it in perspective, the number, 3rd overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, is expected to sign a contract worth over $38 million, with most of it guaranteed. Shedeur's 5th-round deal? It's likely worth less than $5 million total with minimal guarantees. According to Carter, this wasn't just about Shedeur's decisions. It was also about the influence surrounding him, starting with his father. The Deion factor? Deion Sanders, coach primed entitlement, has revolutionized the culture of college football. His charisma, his social media dominance, and his fatherly promotion of Shedeur have turned the Buffaloes into a phenomenon. But in the eyes of NFL executives, that same presence might have worked against Shedeur when it mattered most. Carter pointed to comments Deion made nearly a year before the draft, hinting that Shedeur might not play for certain franchises deemed undesirable by the family. They overplayed their hand, Carter said. They thought they had Eli Manning level leverage. If that name rings a bell? Eli famously forced his way out of being drafted by the San Diego Chargers in 2004, eventually landing with the New York Giants. But Eli had multiple national championships, NFL-ready intangibles, and a last name that was NFL royalty. And even then, it was controversial. Shedeur and his camp tried to narrow the field, Carter said. They were tried to manipulate where he would land, but they didn't play that right. A missed opportunity at the Combine. Then there was the NFL Combine, the ultimate showcase for draft prospects to prove they belong. Shedeur Sanders opted not to work out. Instead of letting his arm do the talking on the biggest pre-draft stage, he passed. That might not have been fatal. Other QBs skipped combine workouts. But Carter emphasized how much weight NFL scouts put on a player's whole pre-draft presence, including interviews, intangibles, and humility. Shedeur's interview process. Let's just say he didn't wow anyone, Carter said. A lot of people left those meetings feeling like he was entitled. That one word, entitled, has become toxic in draft circles. It signals a lack of hunger, a lack of humility. It raises red flags about coachability, locker room fit, and the potential to lead men in a high-pressure environment. And Carter believes that perception, fair or not, is what ultimately tanked Shedeur's stock. Reality hits hard. Shedeur understands something now, Carter said, his tone dropping to something almost fatherly. He ain't running anything anymore. That's the harsh lesson. The Sanders camp, used to dictating the terms of engagement in college.